I know our audience isn't, huge into video games, but there was some pretty big news yesterday that's like an issue with the entire gaming community. And that was that they came out with the new Nintendo Switch, which is a handheld video game thing. Everyone was complaining. I actually have a hot take about it, but like now basically it's been established that video games will be $90. Like at least first party titles. And that I don't care about, and I'll tell people why in a second.
I do, but okay.
Yeah. Well, the digital games for $80 is insane. Like I don't even have time to be worried about the $90 physical copy because I never had to buy. I never bought the physical copies. $80 for digital download is bonkers. They should be $30 at most.
Right, and what makes this even more of a scam with the $90 physical copies is that the physical cartridges do not traditionally hold your games like regular physical cartridges did. The physical cartridge is nothing but a physical key that allows you to download and play the game. So you're still downloading the game, and it does not actually get saved to your cartridge when you do that. So you're just paying for a piece of plastic that gives you permission to download the game, which is insane. This is almost forcing people in a way into buying digital, or it's just their way of going to trying to transition into all digital without outright doing it. So
this is what they've wanted for years.
They've
been trying to get rid of physical copies since the PlayStation 3. And when you have the thing with physical copies that people don't really follow or care about, go try to watch The Wizard of Oz right now. Find where you can even stream it. Go try to watch what's the Shaun of the Dead. Try to stream that.
Yeah.
Or watch one of your favorite classics out there. Watch Gone with the Wind without a trigger warning and having stuff cut out of it. So people want physical copies so that they can have the game in its original form. But Melonie's 1,000% right. That's kind of a fallacy because we haven't been getting complete games on cartridges for 2 generations of video games.
Right.
There's a reason you have to have always online. It's because in order you buy the game, you get a disc, and what does it do first thing? Well, I need to download 120 gigabytes of information. Exactly. So we haven't gotten... Switch was one of the last holdouts, but I think they have been BS for years too.
And I think especially, it's bad enough if PlayStation or Xbox were to sell their games for $80 or $90, but to see the Switch do it when the Switch notoriously has, less capabilities than an Xbox or a PlayStation. I would be opposed to these prices even for Xbox and PlayStation, but at least their tech is more advanced. So here you have a system with less advanced tech, and they're wanting to sell their games for these prices. That's just insane to me.
Tech-wise, it's inferior to the Steam Deck in every way.
Right.
And it's more expensive.
Steam, you have access to all kinds of Steam sales, all kinds of great games on there. It would just be better to play on a Steam Deck, which obviously there are some first-party titles that a lot of people are going to want on the Switch, but honestly, with what they've announced I don't think there was anything that stands out enough to justify any of that to me.
Not for $500.
No way. So I will give like $500 for the console, which is tech-wise inferior to a PlayStation 5, let's be real. But the only reason why you really want to buy Nintendo is because of their IPs. Like
Mario and Zelda.
Zelda, Fire Emblem. Yeah. That's it. I only play my Switch pretty much for Fire Emblem or in terms of that. Or I have been using it for like the Tomb Raider remasters because I lost my Steam Deck. But if I didn't, then I wouldn't even be using my Switch at all for that either. So yeah, this just to me, just to sell the console at $500 is already insane. And then when it is just simply an updated Switch, this is not
barely
like
it's not even the next. It's like a Switch 1.5.
Exactly. And I know like my opinions aren't even the most. A lot of people are really acting like, oh, Nintendo just knocked it out of the park with this. I fail to see that.
They're crazy. Yeah,
I think you're crazy. Think
yeah, because Nintendo previously say that they wanted to make it all about the games. and they didn't want to be involved in like the console wars.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they did, and I supported that, but this
they can't afford. You can't afford the games now.
I know.
Like, but here's the thing: I paid $90 for games in the '90s. Like Killer Instinct on the Super Nintendo was $90. And there were other $90 games.
I see.
The $90 game was always going to happen. Like,
right.
Let me finish this though.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me finish this. Yeah. But that was when you got the whole complete game on a cartridge and they weren't like, and it worked. Now you're paying $90 for a game that's going to need updates. Now, although Switch is pretty good about it.
Right.
But it's going to need all sorts of updates and you're never going to actually own it. Where at least back then, I can still pull out that, like, I think one of the first really expensive games I bought was Killer Instinct on the Super Nintendo. I think that was like $80. And they were just charging because they could. And like, you know, so now when it's at 80 or 90, I don't really care, but I care that I'm not getting the game for $90. I'm just getting a license that they could take away at any time. What were you going to say?
Well,
Sorry.
on Super Nintendo days, we never spent over $50 for a game ever, not once. And also during the Super Nintendo days, it was like you buy a game, it's going to last you for months and months and months at a time. Look at something like Super Mario World, for example, packed with all kinds of levels, like just a metric heck ton of levels. Like there was so much
you could play all summer,
you're getting for your buck. Exactly.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
And also renting was very popular because like my brothers and I played Killer Instinct, but we rented it.
That's not a buy game. That's a smart rent because you can't play that forever.
You were rich, Jeremy. I couldn't afford video games when I was growing up.
No.
90s, that's like $300 right now based on inflation.
No, I always rented. We owned very few games. And like if we bought, that was like a big deal.
Oh yeah, same with my family. Like if we got to buy a game, it was a huge special occasion.
Yeah, and maybe for Christmas I'd get one.
I only remember 2 games that we bought at like the $50 price. That was Donkey Kong Country, and and that was worth it. And Super Mario Kart. So other than that, it was like, hey, if there were some like games that were affordable and that were a lower price or a good deal or at a yard sale, then we could buy those. But otherwise it was like, hey, for the most part, we were renting games.
Yeah. Most kids rented it. Most kids traded. Most kids brought their video games.
We trade. That was big. Yep.
Like, hey, I'll let you play this. You let me play this for over the weekend. And they took away all of that.
That's such a great point, Luke, about trading.
Yeah.
We always used to do that.
Yeah.
And you can't now because it's digital. Like I used to trade games all the time. Like I'll trade you my 720 for your, Back to the Future for a week, and you got to play more games that way. You're right. You can't rent either anymore.
Nope. Exactly. And so it's just like, and also right now, the way that a lot of games are being made, the quality has gone down drastically. And people might want to argue because, graphics are better, but the quality of the game. It has gone down. Actual quality of gameplay for a lot of these games. Now, there are some exceptions with some like good JRPG stuff out there. For example, like Unicorn Overlord, which I put in about 100 hours almost into. So I obviously had a lot of game to play. But a lot of these mainstream, Western AAA titles, you're beating these games extremely fast. All it is just a pretty show because the graphics are really great. But the actual gameplay is pretty handholdy, here's some QTEs, just tap some buttons.
Yeah.
It doesn't have as much depth as something like a Yoshi's Island on Super Nintendo. And so you're getting through these glorified just stories that walking simulator stories that are now they want to price them at like $90. That's just insane to pay $90 for something that's basically just going to be an interactive story instead of actually buying games that are great games and that can last you all summer long.
Nobody asked for Keanu Reeves to voice over Cyberpunk.
Yes.
That Keanu Reeves being involved with Cyberpunk did not improve that game. They're just spending money to spend it, just like Hollywood. Like, you used to get all the story in text boxes, and that was fine. I loved Red Dead Redemption 2, but even that had borderline too many cutscenes.
It did.
I was like, there are sometimes I just wanted to play.
It took me 20 hours before I liked it. I had to get through 20 hours of like the whole intro
that first
stuff
5 hours
and
is brutal. Yeah.
I was like, I hate this game. This is overrated. I hate it. And I kept playing it because I was like streaming it at the time and like my viewers wanted me to keep playing it. But then after the 20 hours and I kept progressing and doing fun stuff like hunting and doing all like the side stuff, I was like, oh, this is actually super fun. I love this game.
Yeah. What is that a Unicorn Overlord on PC?
It's not, unfortunately. It should be, but right now it's like a Switch and PS5.
Oh, okay, I have a PS5. Well, let's end the segment there. Yeah. And I finally have a game to play on my PS5, which hasn't been turned on for a year. And Meta PC sent me
for a couple hours.
I know, you're right. Meta PC sent me a water cooled one, and I was like, "This is cool. Now I need a game." By the way, if you're in the market for a Meta PC, or if you're in the market for a new PC, promo code Rumble at Meta PCs, you'll save money on your computer, and you'll help support the show. And it's the only computer I use. It's a computer Melonie uses. It's a computer I'm going to get Luke probably because his computer keeps pooping out.
It's literally, as you said that, my thing just froze up.
I noticed that. Yeah, I was like,
I'm like, this is a conspiracy by Meta.
I'll get you a Meta deal. All right. I've gotten a lot of people Meta deals. And every time I do, it costs me money because, we share an audience. But I'll get you on there. But yeah, so remember then, promo code Rumble when you're in the market for a new computer. The new graphics cards are out, the 50 series, which I don't have, which I'm fine not having. I only like to get the new every 2 cycles. I think like going from like the 40 series to the 50 series, you're going to spend an ass load of money and it's only going to be a marginal upgrade. And it's going to be like 2 years before there's any game that actually takes advantage of it. So you might as well wait. Like I have like the highest 40 series that they sell. Meta was like, do you want a 50 series? I'm like, no, let's just wait for like the 60 series when that one comes out.